Okay, I want to talk about this short week, week 6. Goodness, the first assignment is due today. The first assignment is a sketch the same size as your final. The final is the second assignment for the week, assignment 2. And you also need to assemble an artist statement for that. Please post your artist statement directly. Um, so let's see. What you're looking for in assignment 1 is a light line drawing that will be just the same size as your final. You could actually make your final on the same page, or if you're working in the manner that Dorena advocates for, you could take this drawing made for today and tape it to a large window to use as a light table, and then put another piece of perhaps better paper on top of that. Now, about paper size, well, you're welcome to use the 9 by 12 paper, or a size that's good for scanning. But if I was working on a big drawing I'd spend several hours on, I'd probably prefer a larger piece of paper. And, well, you might only have newsprint. If that's the case, I'd stick with a smaller paper. If you can get a nice sheet of large paper, why then perhaps consider doing your final on the large scale. Okay, here's Sean's draft for assignment 1. Now, let's think here. Actually, what you want is a line drawing, right? It reproduced the images, the samples that come with the assignments here for your convenience. So you don't want to shade yet. There might be some things to sort out in terms of composition, for example. Sean does have 3 different objects, and that's called for. Let's take a look at that cup. I'm assuming that the cup is cylindrical. The top that's closer to eye level will be a squashed ellipse. When you look further from eye level toward the table, the elliptical shape descriptive of the bottom edge of the cup is going to become curvier. And a good way to show yourself how curvy it is to hold a pencil horizontally underneath the edge of the cup, just so the cup is tangent to the pencil. And generally seeing that straight line against the curved edge of the cup helps you realize how curved it is. So I'm concerned here that behind the stapler there might not be quite enough room for the footprint of the cup, and that might be the same with the box there too. Well, special thanks to Sean and also Pat for getting the discussions going in assignment 1. Here's Pat's work. Pictures 6 different pieces of fruit. That's twice what's called for in terms of numbers of subjects. Here, I'm wondering about the possibility for keeping the still life in place until you're done with assignment 2. It would be good to select objects, arrange them, and let them stay in the still life arrangement until you're done with the assignment 2 work. So, this is a lovely composition. Care has been taken in arranging things and also in describing the fruits with pencil. I especially like that cut slice of cantaloupe. Curiously, the half of the cantaloupe and the kiwi also face forward. Their cut sides are parallel with the picture plane. I guess it's true for that other fruit as well. Is it a papaya? Now, Pat did start shading, however, her drawing still isn't a light face, so it's suited to assignment 1. I wanted to take a look at the watermelon in particular. Notice in this photo I found of a melon, the stripes arc one way at the top and the other way at the bottom, and in the middle they're more or less straight. So it's almost as though the stripes are behaving as parentheses, getting more and more shallow as they come to the middle and become straight. Also here for your reference, I included a drawing by William Bailey, and this suggests, the full array of values that you'll want to shoot for with your final in assignment 2. You may have noticed in a recent announcement I included this rather amusing still life by Raphael Peale. A Peale was the son of an artist, Charles Willson Peale, who happened to have been a friend of George Washington, the first president. And he named his sons after artists. So here, Raphael Peale has made a still life with a peeled piece of fruit. I made the photo grayscale here so that you can consider the array of values that are used in it. The topic of this week's online lectures is texture, and you're also referred to a couple of pages in Doreena's book that treat that same concern in drawing. So perhaps as you're selecting your subjects, you'll want to consider, are they texture? Could the texture that you see on them be rendered with success? Or even, would it be possible to use the frottage method to create a sense of texture in keeping with this still life when it comes time to do the second drawing? Here I've assembled a few frottage drawings, drawings that begin with rubbing graphite on paper with some sort of textured material underneath. It might be pronounced wood grain or any number of different things. The idea in our context is to work from observation using any rubbed or frottage type texture to augment what you've got. And generally, frottage was a method that was used by surrealists, and the imagery that was made by those artists was dreamy and something other than realism. So if you aim to use frottage, which actually could probably speed up the process of portraying intricate texture, it's going to take some experimentation, right? You'll need to find the textured materials that you put on your paper, and you'd also want to check to be sure that the paper you have is suited to the technique. Very thick papers sometimes don't reveal the texture of the object. Some things that you'd think would make a good rubbing actually don't work very well at all. And a paper that is textured already may not reveal the texture with rubbing very well. Additionally, you can use the side of the point of a soft pencil, like an ebony pencil, that could work, but graphite sticks work really well. And I pictured a couple of varieties here. I like those squarish ones. Like the Conte crayons, they need to be scribbled on scrap paper a little bit to break them in. When the corners are real sharp, they don't have a good rubbing. And also there's this sort of pencil that's just made of solid lead that can work also for rubbing, either with a point, or you can peel off the coating. It's got like a plastic coating on it to rub on the side. So one last point is, if you choose to go the route of using frottage technique or rubbing, remember that that's not going to yield a finished result. Generally, after making a rubbing to gain some sense of texture for your drawing, you need to go over that with a point of the pencil, making some areas darker, some areas lighter. You may need to erase, perhaps with an eraser shield, to control the shape of the rubbing. Actually, it helps if you're very cautious about the way that you apply the texture so that it only goes on to the areas where it's needed. So rubbing is a possibility for those of you who opt to go the route of graphite drawings for the final project assignment too.